rotate. I think that's like one of their really strong suits, right? Is like they have a position on the map, they know where they want to go, and they're really good at figuring out what the most optimal path there is. And the thing is, Tiff, that usually relies on them relying heavily on smoking their way from point A to point B. We got thermals in here today as part of no bans, so you don't have a free rotation like you might have had in the past. And I think that's what catching a lot of teams kind of at the end there. We even saw Brax, right?
Yeah.
Had that high ground towards the end, who was just sitting on a roof and was just absolutely ripping kids through the smoke thanks to a thermal. So I gotta imagine there might be a little bit what's in there, but we're seeing some hype coming on in with our winners of map number 2. I like it.
I was just jamming, let me just tell you, but I think that's some very solid, because I was curious to think about what that was and what that would potentially have been kind of ruining for their rotations. They're making it towards those end games, but a lot of the last we saw from them for that seaport ending was that they wrapped under the bridge and got kind of taken out. But for Amir and Co, for them to be able to withstand seaport, love to see how they begin their journey here for match number 3, coming in 54 points, a third of the way to that 150 that we need to get to.
A través del humo y lo que no, porque realmente la mayoría de las cosas por el humo fueron cerca, ¿sabes?
Sí.
Lots of comms coming out. I can't speak Spanish, but I'm hearing some comms, and that's really all that matters. So chat, help me out here. What is our teams trying to, the game plan being here? They were all 3 on our top 10 individual kill leaderboard. So you got to imagine that is what was able to come to a lot of their success. We've kind of been talking about, right? Like what makes these top teams so dominant? And for me, it's always like everybody on the team is capable of frying out, and everybody is able to, you know, win their ones, find those kills, be able to kind of create space on the map. And I think this is one of those squads that can absolutely do that. Every single one of these are very capable of, you know, being able to push a team and coming out on top.
Dark.
¿Cómo?
Que si dejaste el dinero, güey, ya es todo lo que traías.
No, ya eso es lo que tengo. No he dejado nada. Tengo 9 ya.
At least we're vibing over here in Riverside. This is a strong position to start, so I love that they're beginning their journey on Urzikstan throughout here. Now, that starts to show where they found success, especially if that zone pulls Seaport. It's a very short rotation away for them. Now, granted, depending on where this zone begins to pull, we usually have a few different iterations of what we've seen, and I kind of talked about this last week. A lot of our zones tend to pull towards that northwestern side of Urzikstan. We'll occasionally get some endings out north of Low Town, and then typically one in city. But I want something rogue. I want to go manor.
Potentially possible that we could get that back on board with your current first place on the leaderboard team. It's going to be Tommy getting taken out by a bomb drone from Bbreadman. They do get that down.
Or Brad, can you make sure he doesn't have self?
Yeah.
Ooh. Good comms there.
Double this, get up.
Yep,
done.
He's just like hovering over the down Tommy. Yourself, I dare you.
I mean, I like that call. I think they went for the interrogation, so they know where these other players are. And yeah, Brad is just kind of hanging out here, making sure that there is no self. You don't want to have to go ahead and eliminate him too early. I think if you could send them all to the gulag at about the same time, you'd be feeling very, very good.
Oh, jumping on over to Careless Kitty's squad here today, currently in 6th place with 44 points. This is what I'm telling you. When it comes to being able to play with a different duo every week, or maybe you stick to a couple and you just kind of rotate through them depending on who's available, but linking up with Patsuka and Engsian today, this is a very strong showing. And you can see they've already got the intel contracts. They're north here, but we can hit this redeploy and start kind of filtering in through and planning our rotation from there. Now, granted, yes, you're looking for a slower start if you're going to one of the northernmost areas of Urzikstan, but you can see that zone is going to kind of pull center north, and I think this is going to be very nice to start. But you do see the snipes coming through the bullet trails. I'm a little worried, but they've made it to the building.
Made it to the building. They're looking around. You saw them do an intel contract. I think they did it a little bit too early, though, in my opinion, because, you know, okay, great. You learn that the zone's pulling over here, but still a very large area of the map. You saw Rated was kind of doing the same thing on the other side, potentially waiting for that zone to close. So that as zone 2 pops, you get your intel contract to finish. And that lets you have a little bit better idea on where the zone is going to start pulling. But they've decided to wrap on through here. Tiff, they've pulled this helicopter, and now they're going here over to Popov. I think you got to be a little bit careful because somebody's done this black site You are showing up on their UAV, but you got to worry about it for now.
The odds of that being, once again, Biffle, Shifty, Hisoka are very high, since that's usually where they land, and notoriously known for getting that black site done in match number 2. But for now, still flying over, looking for any information, and curious to see what that next course of action for them looks like. But we've committed down here, bunker nearby, and a buy station. So we're situated nicely. A couple mortar strikes up ahead as well. Maybe looking for a good third party to start those eliminations up.
Yeah, this thing is looted right here.
It's definitely a solid idea. I think that's something maybe more teams need to kind of focus on, is the ability to see that a fight is happening and start flying on through, right? And that's a lot of times you see people kind of take the 1v1, the straight up, you know, sort of 3v3 fight, but not enough people, I think, position themselves to be able to play cleanup on those engagements to come out with 4 or 5 eliminations, you know, at the top.
I don't see anything in the smoke. I think they cross bottom.
All squad members are in the
Dive in, dive in, dive in.
Over here with Team Vonbot playing along Shero and Devo. Jackal not on this roster any longer.
Trophy top left. I think he's keeping it. Watch out, Von.
But I love the way we're kind of trying to set up for this team that's across from them. Little patience, trophy system going down. The zip across comes through.
Remember that?
I have a recon drone. Hold up.
Oh, okay.
2 below us. Landing in somewhere. Just landing in here. Just landing right there. Shot on my drone. They're trying to sky nade. I'm gonna thermo nade them.
I got sniped. From behind you.
Okay, the snipes come on through. That's going to be Skullface taking down Vonbot.
Right now.
Hey, just chill there. If I want to do it, I'm letting that.
So far, though, you just have Shero wanting to just hold this ladder in case they decide to push on up here.
They're getting more nades from me.
My trophy's on you right now, so.
I like our patience right here, right? We have to wait to see what's going to happen with Vonbot in the gulag, and you can see right there, loses to Super Ev. And it puts him in an interesting situation. Also with Super Ev going early on. They don't have the cash, although they have that mobile buy station. So we're going to have to dip out, acquire cash, or maybe a reinforcement flare, and then get on with Vonbot back in the lobby. But now, linking back up. I think this is a smart play. You just got to get out of dodge, but knowing there's snipers in the area, Skullface wanting to connect, and Devo hits the call out on me close. This regain's going to be a little bit tougher than we expected.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, you have Vonbot get taken on out. This team is really just getting aggressive on top of all of them. You have to kind of be able to play this back and forth where you're like, maybe you can play an angle. Maybe you can try and catch somebody, especially with something like this Moore's in your back pocket, but...
You guys need $200.
I'm gonna smoke back, okay? I'm smoking back.
Say just play towards the portable. All right, so doubling back, the smoke goes through, but mind you, everyone has thermals these days. A lot of damage, but still able to make it out with, well, I was gonna say, make it out with their life. That's gonna be Biffle, though. There goes the redeploy. Back on in, but we're losing that cash that we needed, but we're gonna be able to maybe land in a different area.
Yeah, they're on me.
Yeah, I mean, now that you know that it's that squad, I mean, do you even want to try and make your way back on over,
No.
or do you try and regain somewhere else? And it looks like, yeah, Devo will get taken out. So they have this natural loadout that's on the other side of the map. They'll be able to fly back on in. Hopefully you get this loadout for free. You do. It's a single box, so you know that you're probably the only team around here, hopefully. And it looks like it's unlooted so far, so an actually solid regain opportunity for that trio.
And a trio that needs to have a solid performance here in match number 3 to really jump back up on the leaderboard. Granted, they're in 15th place, but 19 points when you're looking for that Call of Duty Warzone match point number, that 150 points. And knowing that teams are almost halfway there, really got to turn up the burners, right? They went out in 30th place in match number 1. Not the best performance in match number 2. Not something that we're used to witnessing for this trio. Now, granted, Roster Mania has hit this squad pretty hard. They've had different iterations. Super Ev just really trying to find that flow again. And I think now is the time for us to do this, just outside the black site here. But when the shots come through, you've got to make sure that you're on the right side of the fence line. And well, he calls out the sniper, and then immediately we see ottereyes go down. Someone's sniping at me. No shot. Biffle here in the gulag. There goes the push, and well, there goes the cleanup.
Back on over. It looks like, well, they were able to get back on up, but Super Evan's going to be the one to get sniped from Blast. So that's that team that's going to be here. Top pop off, Empathy and Ottereyes. I'm not seeing a buy station super close by, so they got to make the choice. Do we kind of try and stick around? Do we get to a buy station somewhere else on the map, or do you try and play for the buy in the back? On the other side of the map, though, Ryda, sniper in hand, finds Zach. A huge pick. Trying to be able to maybe hit the wall bang for the full. Nothing just yet.
I'm just ready for a sniper montage. After a no bans tourney, we need all of the snipes throughout. He's just constantly looking towards that team circling around. We're located here in Opal Palace, as dead center of Urzikstan as we can get. The rotations aplenty from this area once we decide where we want to end up. But for now, nice knock on to zcolors.
I'm getting ahead so we don't have to. Maybe even here. May not be too bad.
What the fuck? Scatter.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Right here, flying on top.
I was like right there with him. Like, wait, what was that? Turns out it was a scatter mine. A little bit of damage. As some good shots coming on through. You saw somebody fly on in. I think a different team got that. Ping in the air. Ryda trying to be able to connect with the sniper rifle. Not going to be able to.
Where are you seeing?
Because you have a mosquito draw in your back pocket as well. You can maybe use this if you can push on up a squad, but it's like for now you're kind of just hanging on out. You don't really have the pressure. You don't have to move. I would like them to get into maybe something a little bit more concentrated though, Tiff, because right now, I mean, if you got to move to any one of these buildings, it is wide open spaces between where you want to go. And well, when we got thermals in effect here, it's going to be tough to try and make that wrap.
Look at this, bro. Holy fuck, bro.
Oh no, that means we have a really bad pool. And this is the zone that we've been seeing a lot of, and it typically pulls towards the buildings by the water. We've also seen it end on that kind of mountain lip by the water also. But we're just kind of taking a check on our resources. What do we have for the rotation? Right, up to 5 plates now. Has a reinforcement player, and you called out the mosquito, so that's going to be smart here. And despite chaining the smokes together, knowing how many people are running thermals, I still don't feel safe trying to clear out along this fence line. Here comes the mortar. And yeah, here we go. Just pushing around.
Fucking Claymore, I'm good though. I'm playing.
I'm with you. I got a recon here. Or drop your portable radar, Ron.
Oh.
Right, I'm gonna drop my recon. I want to see how many are across. Okay. So I'm gonna open.
I like this. I like this. Is why you keep these things like recons in your back pocket, right? To be able to kind of deploy this, you see them open the door, get a solid idea of the people that are around you. You mentioned it earlier. Not a lot of cold-blooded or ghost being run right now because we have a bird's eye, but so far right now, recon drone is going to give them a lot of information that they might have some free rotations here, Tiff.
Literally one guy. Nothing's on the hill.
Wow, I would have thought there would have been more people, but it looks like a lot of the teams that were in the nearby vicinity were just causing a lot of distraction to maybe hit that rotation. You know, there's going to find Riaz.
Bunker Road.
Yeah, this is your time. Use this exact moment to get ahead of that rotation, similar to the other squads. Still taking precautions here and smoking regardless, but for now, Soka, Shifty, Biffle, not necessarily the best showing for their first 2 matches of the day, but are looking for something to turn around, specifically when the zone starts to favor them. Biffle already on 3.
On 3, you have a lot of space left to go here in this game as Circle 4 is starting to come to a close. Gulag also coming to a close as well. Something you have to keep in the back of your mind as you start to push some of these fights. You're not going to have the opportunity to go back to your Gulag and get back in if you need it. We already saw Biffle go to the Gulag earlier, but if you are Soka or Shifty and you haven't been, just something you want to try and keep in mind. But they are kind of shouldering, knowing that there is this team right in front of them. Biffle keeping his eyes on appeal, looking for any other squads pushing from a different direction. But I like the spot here, Tiff. You can kind of catch a lot of teams rotating on in. You have this portable buy. You can kind of be able to hit if you do need to for anything, as we are seeing Heeds Gotta get taken out by Shifty. That could be the opening they need to start flying on through.
Oh, but as soon as you say that, Shifty gets dropped and Biffle. Hisoka double back to look for a res onto Shifty. Does not have that self-res available to him, which I find very interesting that we would have made that play. This is the issue because we have so many people running that one-shot sniper, which is funny. When you hear people saying, he's one-shot, he's one-shot. Well, everyone's one-shot if you're running the Moors at this point, okay?
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what happened. I think they got the pick. They wanted to try and get aggressive, you know, let Shifty just kind of stay in the back if needed, but it looked like a sniper shot kind of rang on through and did that. And so, you know, you don't want to have to leave Shifty back here, especially where he doesn't have a self-revive. He has a self, they probably continue pushing on and it's not a huge deal, but because he doesn't have that, you know, they opt to say, okay, we'd rather come back, get you back on up, reset this fight, and then figure out how we want to play this. You see the zone starts to shift. They have the edge of this building that they're in, but then it's kind of wide open until you can manage to get there. I think if you are them, you maybe wide wrap left here. Even though there are some of these teams, you take out this one team, you're probably feeling pretty solid about your rotation.
Eventually.
I do want to hear kind of what their intentions are now that we're into the 20-ish squads left of the lobby. Into 1.2x, looking for 1.4 once we hit 15 teams left. We have a bit of calm before the storm. The counter UAV pops just ahead of them.
I hear him close on his back building.
Yellow building? Okay.
I like this. There's a little bit of patience right now. They want to have a better understanding where some of these teams are, so that way when they try and make their moves, they can make it with confidence. You're seeing some of these players pop up on that mini-map, thinking to some of those shots going on up, but Shifty making the call. Somebody is landing on the roof. Biffle trying to be able to come on over, help his teammates, help the squad. Makes their way, and Shifty's able to find one. Biffle playing from the top there. On the other side of the map, we got Tommy. AWBZ and TEENIE playing on top of this bridge right now. I think this is a very solid power position if you are these three.
We have multiple snipers here for this roster.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that.
Sure. There we go. That'll do it. Right on to Empathy. That's a squad wipe. 4 eliminations for Tommy. Now, mind you, this is a squad that has been heating things up. AWBZ, TEENIE, Tommy playing from the North American side here. Moving. A lot of difference there to jump on over to North America. Got to get set up and start competing here in Warzone Total Frenzy to get those reps in underneath that new roster. I've been really enjoying what I've seen from this trio, though. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes, Tommy. This is exactly what we wanted to see out of this roster, especially knowing when you bring in one-shot snipers, Tommy will be running them, typically anchors a lot, and it's very impressive.
And this is just kind of a really good spot. I mean, even look at zone tiff. Like, they have all of this top ground. The rest of it is wide open. Go ahead, try and smoke, try and stay alive. I don't know if it's going to be any use to you, as we are seeing one more player gets taken out and then gets deleted again, playing on through. Tom trying to be able to get those shots, and you have 40 bullets in your back pocket. So you're just going to let this thing ring all day long. Clutchback will get taken down by TEENIE, and they are just on a tear right now, cleaning up some of these squads from around them.
I think with this zone pool to be so atrocious, and being on the bridge and just taking all of this space away from squads, Youngsters goes down. That's an mid NA squad, almost into the top 5 here. We're looking for the 1.8x multiplier. Gonna be a big one, and they need it.
Listen on the bridge. Watch out. Hold the bridge. Hold the bridge. We have to hold the bridge. Most important right now.
Aiming. I got a heady.
Pushing up close on this time.
One there. Right there. That's a.
Right in front of me on that. Two of them.
Nading. Dead nading.
Oh, some good shots, but this is Youngsters and Brax. They swing wide. They take down Tommy. AWBZ and TEENIE, you got to play back on up. The mosquito drones are here, and, well, they had a power position, but just like that, we're seeing them fly on through, and it's going to be TEENIE who can manage to stay alive and clutch up for the squad. You see the res come in onto AWBZ. Can they get Tommy in time? It actually looks like they will be able to, thanks to a slow side of zone.
But for Smixy here, along with her duo, PDS in zone. Snipers for distance. Now we're jumping into the water like sharks we swim straight out of the gas in towards that next zone. But my thing is, when you have 4 total squads left, Tommy, though, has stabilized up here on the bridge and will be able to keep an eye on all the players left. Amir into the end game yet again. There goes Zach, that knock. Castillo fully eliminated here and down into the final 3. All 3 members from each 3 squads are up here in the final zone.
I like this from Tommy. Goes wide, goes left a little bit. We'll be able to find Zach. That is part of Smixy's squad that we just saw. Back on over. It actually looks like somebody is pushing OBS and them. Still up here. That was Swag, Adrian, and Sage. That was below them. 3v2 right now. OBS, TEENIE, and Tommy have the high ground. They have the zone pull as well. And look at the thermals coming into clutch here, Tiff. Tommy just raining down bullets on these 2 below. This is going to go ahead, just back on up. You don't have to get aggressive. You don't have to overchow. This finds them. There is the squad wipe. Tommy and Co. take game number 3. With how many eliminations is the question, though? Show me that scoreboard, young man.
No,